Joe Rogan recently had Russell Brand on his podcast, and they covered some fitness topics, and they had some great insights to the importance of working out and doing hard things that I think everybody should hear. Let's check it out.
There's some universal requirements, and I think movement is one of them if you can move. If you are privileged enough, you're not injured, you're not disabled, and you can move, God, I really think you should move. And I don't even mean in something I mean, walk around the block. Just fucking do something.
I totally agree with everything Joe just said. We only get one body, and a lot of the times it's the whole old saying of use it or lose it. In order to enjoy this life at the max, you need to move your body. Your body is made to move, and there's so many benefits that go along with it.
You have to take action.
You have to take the action, and it usually involves suffering and sacrifice.
Yes.
And
that's huge right there. What Russell just said was, it takes sacrifice. It's hard. Doing anything in life is not easy. Whether you're going to school, you got to put in the time to study. Whether you're trying to build a business, you got to put in the extra time outside of probably your regular job when you're getting going. And it's got to be consistently done over a longer period of time. And so I totally understand that people are not prone to wanting to get started because it is difficult. You go through that soreness for the first time, and it's like your body's screaming at you, no more, please, and your mind. But it's so important to fight through that.
So that's a hard thing to tell. People don't want that now, do they? They don't want that information. Like, you can tell people there's a quick fix and an easy way, but whether it's getting off drugs, becoming a stand-up comedian, or doing or accomplishing stuff in a martial art, normally it means incrementally, day by day, hour by hour, session by session, you are going to experience a degree of suffering, whether it's physical or early stand-up when you can't do it and you have to stand up in front of an audience and be and bomb in front of people, and then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. That is unavoidable. And I suppose I don't want to only use the markers that are...
That's awesome to hear him talk about that, because you have the tendency to look at people who are already, really lean, ripped, or muscular, and in great shape, or people who have built the business, or comedians who are really funny and great on stage with their lines. They put hours and hours and hours into it. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's like paying off debt. I think that fitness is always very similar to finances, that it takes time, depending on how in debt you are. So if you're really out of shape and overweight, then it's going to take you longer to get into the shape that you want. And you might have to do the grind a little bit longer in order to get there. And if you haven't gotten yourself out of shape and you've been doing some things, then it's going to take less time. But either way, you still have to put in the time. And then once you get there, then you can maintain it a whole lot easier. Like, my fitness now is much more like, I still push myself and I'm trying to grow and get better consistently, but I can maintain my weight so much easier as soon as you learn how to do the certain steps. As soon as you get the nutritional budget, nailed in there nice and tight, and you're just hitting it and you're on autopilot. It doesn't take the work and the dedication it used to.
Sanctioned as success, things that might bring you financial success, because God knows there are other ways of succeeding in this world, and truly, truly great people that don't enjoy the accolades of a culture that celebrates many, many things that I think are pretty vacuous. But on the level of the individual, as you say, if you're not willing to go to the mat or to the open mic or to wherever it is you practice.
Yeah, you got to do something. You got to take action. And so many people are just stagnant, and they don't know how to act, and they don't have experience doing it. And so they just stay home. And again, the disembodiment thing. They put on headsets, or they sit in front of the computer, or they sit in front of the television, or they sit in front of their phone, and they don't act. And you're going to be depressed. That's not good for you. It's not a natural, normal way for people to behave. And this thing that people do where they avoid discomfort, it sounds ridiculous, but it just creates more discomfort. You don't realize that in embracing discomfort and forcing yourself to do something very uncomfortable that you can control, like an ice bath, like a sauna, like a run, like a workout, you are eliminating another form of discomfort.
So what Joe hits on right there, I think, is very important, because what I just previously said, that it does become easier, it doesn't mean that you want to do it every day. I don't want to work out every single day that I end up working out, but I have always made that a non-negotiable for myself. I'm going to work out 4 to 6 days a week, minimum 4. It's just a non-negotiable. I'm gonna come home after work, I'm gonna go out and do a jump rope workout, a body weight workout, or I'm gonna lift or do whatever it is that I'm wanting to do on my schedule. And even if like, there are days where I am like tired and I don't want to. Everything in my bones is telling me don't do it, just go sit on the couch. But what I tell myself in those situations is, okay, you feel like crap right now, give yourself 5 minutes. Just go out there and jump rope for 5 minutes and see how you feel. And almost every single time I end up working out for 20, 25, 30 minutes and getting a great sweat in, and then afterwards I feel so much better. It is just so much, it's so good of a stress relief for me following my work day. And I think that so many people miss out on that. And I think that's what Joe's hitting on there.
It's so fucking good for you to do hard things. And I know people don't want to do it, and because just working is a hard thing. Just getting up and commuting is a hard thing. You don't want to do it. The alarm clock goes off. You want to stay in bed. I fucking get it. But if you can force yourself to do something else on top of the things that you are mandated to do because of your work or life and whatever, just force yourself. You'll be better off.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is you're not going to magically just love fitness. You have to push yourself past comfort zones and get used to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's not something that just comes naturally. You got to do it over and over again, but it's just, like you said, it's just so good for you.
Okay, University of South Australia researchers are calling for exercise to be a mainstay approach for managing depression, as a new study shows that physical activity is 1.5 times more effective than counseling or the leading medications. Of course it is.
Of course it is. It's
Of course,
physical.
and probably, and I don't want to say the cause of anyone's individual depression because there's no way I can know, but I think probably a lot of people are depressed because they're not moving.
Yeah.
I really think it's a requirement. It's a physical requirement.
That's super interesting, and I'm sure, I have no doubt that a lot of that is true, because I know I've heard a lot of people that started working out and getting healthier, and then they come off a lot of medications, whether it's diabetes stuff or blood pressure medication, getting rid of their CPAP machine for their sleep apnea, and snoring less and getting better sleep. I mean, I know when I come home from work, when it's been a stressful day, getting that workout in is paramount for me to be able to just clear my mind, because it makes me focus on something other than the crap that went down. And now I get to focus on doing something, working hard, expending that energy, that whether it's negative energy or whatever, just to like push it out of me, sweat it out, kind of like you're sweating out toxins, and then move on with your day. And then the rest of your day just goes so much better.
I'm very fortunate that my wife works out too, and so it's easy that we both do it together in the mornings, and then we got the kids doing it too. And we'll like give the kids screen time. Look, you have screen time, but you got to do the Stepmaster for an hour. And we'll like let them like earn stuff, and they always feel better afterwards. Like even they don't want to do it, they don't admit it, but afterwards, like everybody's more relaxed. We're eating breakfast, we're laughing. It's like it's good for you. It's good for you.
All right, so for the first thing that Joe touches on there is the fact that it's easy because his wife is also into it. My wife also works out, and it's just great to have that. Anytime you have stuff in common, that you're able to do that, and you're both able to set that time aside, and it doesn't mean you have to do one of those goofy couples workouts, but you can just both go to your side, or I'm in the garage and she's in the house on the spin bike or whatever it is, and we just knock it out. Having your spouse and loved ones on the same page as you is so important, because you're able to pick them up when they're down. When they're not feeling it, you can encourage them. And when you're not feeling it, they can encourage you, and you hold each other accountable. And so if you have a spouse, and you're gonna start a new exercise regimen, maybe it's like a first time thing, or you haven't done it for a long time, let them know your plan, because then they can help you with it. And as a spouse, you should be encouraging your loved one to make the best of themselves. Because if you're not doing that, then I don't know what you're doing. Because you should want people to be healthy. You should want them to be the best that they can be. And as for the kids stuff, I mean, I could see a lot of people getting going a little bit crazy with talking about how whether Joe is making his kids earn screen time. I'm sure that it's not how it conjures up in somebody's mind. He's not like, you're gonna do an hour on the elliptical or you're not gonna get to text your friends, you know? It's just like, hey, guys, go move somewhat. Because, it's weird for me to think about. I don't have kids, but when I was a kid, we were always outside running around. You didn't have to worry about your kid moving and being on the screen too much because we had like the regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Like you just didn't spend that much time inside. You were still out running around playing wiffle ball, tag, riding bikes all over the town and just like constantly moving. And so this day and age with the gaming and the phones and the tablets, I can understand like wanting to give some incentives to get your kids out moving and making sure that they're being healthy and giving some exposure to fitness. But I think that you have to be careful with that because just like trying to shove vegetables down their throats, you could also create something very negative in their mind. So when they get older, they might go, no, I remember when Dad did that to me. I'm never doing that again. But overall, I think that a lot of this conversation was huge. Fitness is not easy. It's not easy. Not easy for anybody, but you have to force yourself to get through, especially that beginning phase. And then it starts to become more routine and you got to develop these new habits, continue to push yourself. And one more thing, one of the biggest barriers to entry of fitness for people is they end up doing workouts that they don't like. You need to do something that you enjoy, and that's why I started a jump rope fitness channel, is because jump rope is so much fun. There's so much progression to be made, there's skills to be learned, and you can just take it to any level that you want. The handles are literally in your hands. You control the pace, the intensity, and you're developing some athleticism all at the same time. But find something that you enjoy.